Check, 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 check. All righty then. All righty. All praises go out to. All praises go to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah, Barakatah, Shabbat Shalom, to all the Akims and Aquas that's out there in YouTube land. Give you all praises to glory and honor goes to the Most High, man. Hope you guys are having an excellent Shabbat. Hope your family's in good health. And all praises go to the Most High God. So, welcome back to another Bring It Out TV. It's your brother Eleazar. And we got a good lesson for you today, going into the gods of the wood and stone. I know we talk about Christianity and Islam being that God, but it's a little more in depth than that. So we're gonna go into it a little more extensive of what it means to serve other gods, wood and stone. But before we go into that, I want to talk a little bit about my brother Alazar, Guerrilla Hebrew, if you will, for Sakari. He's getting ready to debate a Christian apologetic by the name of Dr. Michael Brown. I think that's his name. Yep, Dr. Michael Brown. And they're gonna have it. They're gonna have a depth discussion about the 12 tribes chart, and they're gonna go into how the Ashkenazi Jews are the people of Israel. And I'm gonna just bring out the little video that Alazar and Vocab Malone did concerning this matter. So let me share it with you guys. All Israel need to be pushing this because we need to see how this gonna turn up, man. All praises and glory and honor go to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahweh Shah Barakatah. So let me share my screen with you guys, and let's get and fair use. Let me, before I do that, let me put it in a thread. Fair use. Hold on, Shalakia. Put in a thread. Put in a thread before I get started. Fair use. Oops. Yeah. Fair use. All right, fair use. Shalom, brother Dion.
Shalom.
So we going. I'm gonna share this little video with my brother Alazar over there, Sakari, and Vocab Malone, man. They did an introduction video on this this debate that's gonna happen on March 23rd. So let me share my screen real quick and let the brothers speak for themselves. Here we go.
We're downtown Phoenix, 2nd Street, and Washington for the Super Bowl. Here with Guerrilla Hebrew and Sakari Ken. We are announcing a very special debate. You versus Michael Brown. Tell them what's it about?
Dr. Michael Brown. We'll be debating Ashkenazi Jews or the 12 tribes chart. Who are the legitimate children of Israel? Hot, controversial topic. It's been sweeping the nation the last few months. And you have a leader in the Hebrew Israelite community and a PhD scholar. Get ready to go head to head on that topic.
Yeah, so Brown put out a debate challenge a couple months ago around the Kyrie stuff. I think maybe it was. Said anybody who's willing to debate me.
I gotta get on my phone. Brother Corey, God for again, David. He sent me this. So I'm gonna just play it real quick. Cool.
But I'd like to have a formal moderated debate. We can do it live online before the largest possible audience, where we would debate something specific, such as the history of the Jewish people, or are Jews like me legitimately Jews? Want to debate those things?
debate the history of the Hebrew language and what is the right understanding of the Hebrew language, I'm happy to do a formal, moderated debate, or look at key scriptures. At the end of Deuteronomy 28, who does that apply to? Key verses in the Bible, way of salvation. If you'd like to do a debate about that, formal, moderated, equal time where we get to vet each other and do counter-examinations and things like that, cross-examinations, by all means, again, you have to be a recognized leader, so I want to be fair. If you're not a recognized leader, then you're not representing things accurately.
Okay, so he said you got to be a recognized Hebrew Israelite leader in order for him to take this fade. And he wants it to be formally moderated on a large platform, on a neutral platform. That's what he said, right? Okay, well, I am, just for the record, to state my credentials, okay? Chief Priest Alazar Benoit de Sakari. I'm a recognized leader in this community. We want to just go on the record now and say that we're accepting a challenge.
Alazar said, I'll do it. I knew both parties involved. I said, hey, you know, this guy challenged you back? Brown said, no, but let's do it. We, after a couple months kind of negotiating, real smooth, just iron out the details, we got it on lock. So the platform is
Bringitouttv, all right? On Bringitouttv, man, a brother who we known for a while. Y'all may have seen Deacon and Sergeant Yatab over there debating, talking, things of that nature. So the Bringitouttv, respected brother on the Christian side, but, you know, well respected and connected with us on the Israelite side.
everybody knows them, and everybody feels like they'll be treated fairly over there. Alazar, I'm sending you the debate rules and format right now.
Okay.
You can take a look at it.
Yes, sir.
And see if we got final agreement here.
Okay.
All right, so bringing it up. Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. Dr. Michael Brown versus Alazar Benoit. Brother Brian is the YouTube host. We're going to use StreamYard. Sorry, I got a lot of details here. I guess I'm the organizer, but if it falls apart, I didn't organize it. It is going to be a live stream, so this is live, not a pre-record. Around 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. That's the plan when we will go live. The official title is 12 Tribes Chart, or Ashkenazi Jews, Who's the Legit Children of Israel? You want to go over the format part? Or you want me to do that too?
Yeah, I'll go over the format. The host will do an introduction for each debater for about 4 minutes. There'll be 15-minute opening statements, 12-minute rebuttals, then second rebuttals of 5 minutes, cross-examinations 10 minutes each, then closing statements for 5 minutes. Then there'll be an audience Q&A for 30 minutes. That means you as a part of the audience can participate in this debate for 30 minutes. Ask me or Dr. Michael Brown any questions you like pertinent to the topic, of course. All right, let's not get silly here. Pertinent to the topic for 30 minutes. Then we're going to give a closing where we give out our socials and things of that nature for a minute. And then Brother Kareem will give a 1-minute closing.
That's it. And we've agreed to do something kind of interesting here. Coin toss. Who goes first? Who goes second? Of course, whoever goes second also has the last word. There's advantages to both sides, but we know that God is in charge. We agree on that.
Yes, sir.
He is in charge of the coin toss. And we have Captain Taz, you gonna do this?
Absolutely.
If it's heads, you go first. If it's tails, and Dr. Brown goes first. It sounds like Dr. Brown's fulfilling the curses though, because he's the tail.
He's the tail now.
Not the head. I'm just saying.
How we gonna do it? That's right. Gotta get the ground.
Took a roll.
There it goes.
Tails?
It is tails.
Tails it is. All right. It's tails, so that means that Dr. Brown will go first. All right. Awesome. Let's just give the date out one more time.
Yeah.
Oh, thanks, man. All right, let's see here. Date one more time. Thursday, March 23rd, 2023. Dr. Michael Brown. Alazar, anything else to add?
Hey man, it's gonna be good. All praise to the Most High, man. Just y'all ain't gonna want to miss this, man. This is gonna be good. It's gonna be classic. It's gonna be scholastic. We're just gonna deal with that information. So y'all, it's for everybody's gonna learn something. I guarantee it from this debate. So be there or be swift.
I mean, this is a big debate. Very interesting. I mean, they managed to bring the two of us here together to talk about this, promote it. So you don't want to miss it. I'll see y'all there.
Lord.
Now, as the word of Michael Buffett, let's get it on. Let's get it on. Fair use, fair use, fair use. So yeah, that's going down March 23rd, man, on Berean TV, man. Berean TV. Berean is he's a Christian, and he's a Christian and apologetics, slightly apologetic, but he kind of get on the Christians as well. So what do y'all think, man? What do y'all think about this challenge of Dr. Michael Brown, man, posing the challenge of the 12 tribes chart and how the Ashkenazi or the Jewish people are Israel. Now, for a disclaimer, for what I understand, Michael Brown do believe that a lot of blacks that was on the slave ships were Israelites. He do believe that. Just for the disclaimer, have y'all ever heard of Dr. Michael Brown? He posted. He's like this well-known historian, and he's also a big-time apologetic.
Mm-mm.
Never heard of him? Okay.
Shalom, family. Shalom.
Shalom, Brother Michael. Well, it's gonna be interesting because he's the apologetic go-to guy. He's the top of the food chain. You know what I mean? So far as in the Christian world, apologetics, he's at the top. You don't get no higher than Dr. Michael Brown, as far as the apologetics is concerned. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So it's gonna be interesting. You know, all praise, glory, honor go to the Most High God, man. We wish Shakari well in that debate, but we won't let God be true and what every man a liar. Right? Let God be true and every man a liar. Right? So we gonna go into I just wanted to push that out there a little bit. So Israel, if y'all have not heard about it, so we can Israel just need to do a good job of pushing this stuff out there so more information can get out there, and so you can do your homework so you can study to show yourself approved and don't have to be led, whether it's in Israel or whether it's being led by the apologetics. Let God be your lead through the spirit of Yahweh Shah and walk out the Yahweh Shah footsteps, okay? And walk out Yahweh Shah footsteps. So we're going to go into gods of wood and stone. Wood and stone. So I taught that the gods of wood and stone is Christianity and Islam, and I'm sure y'all heard that before. But we're gonna go a little, we're gonna peel back that layer a little bit and get a little more in depth to what it means to serve God's wood and stone. Is it only Christianity? Is it only Islam, or is it something a little more cynical, right? So let's get into it. Before we start, brother, one of your brothers, can y'all pull Psalms 133 and verse 1, Baba Kashah? Psalm 133 and verse 1. And Shalakia for last night, man. I got home, man. I don't know, man. It just felt like, God darn it. Just like I got so freaking tired, man. I was tired all day yesterday. So Shalakia for not getting on yesterday, man. Man, this captivity is a beast, man. Captivity is a beast. So can I get Psalms 133 and verse 1? We're going to do a little reading here. I wanted to do some slides, man, but I didn't get a chance to put everything together. But I got a little stuff that we can go over. I got little videos that I want to present to show you that this God wood and stone was a little more cynical. And we're going to go through some timelines, like to understand that that a lot of prophecies was fulfilled and still was being fulfilled. There was concurrent prophecies, not just okay, this prophecy fulfilled and that's it. But they continue to keep happening, and we're going to show it through the text. Right? So, God of wood and stone, we're going to get into today, most high willing.
This is Psalms 133 and verse 1.
Okay.
Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that ran down upon the beard, even Aaron's beard, that went down to the skirts of his garments. As the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. For there the Lord commanded the blessing, even life forevermore. Selah.
And we always start out with the scripture because we seek unity among brethren. You know what I mean? So let's let's get into it. Let's get into Deuteronomy 28 and 64. That's one of the most prominent scriptures about wood and stone. So let's start there. Deuteronomy 28 and 64.
All right. It's the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 28, verse 64. And the Lord shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other. And there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone.
Okay, so it said that the Most High going to scatter you among all people. And what we got to understand, a lot of this stuff was sporadically, because when you look at the time of the Assyrian captivity, that was Northern Kingdom in captivity. When you look at the time of the Babylonian captivities, of course, that was Southern Kingdom. When you look at the Greeks, when you look at the Greeks and the Romans, that was more Southern Kingdom in captivity. So a lot of times you've seen certain prophecies happen sporadically. It all happened at once, and it was a continuation that it continued to happen even to this very day, right? So the Most High said, the Most High was going to see you into captivity, and there you was going to serve other gods, nor what your forefathers have not known. So when you see it say your forefathers have not known, what do y'all get from that? Do you think that's talking about Israel as a whole, or that's talking about something specific? When it say that your forefathers have not known, right?
It's something that's different from what your forefathers went through, like Baal and all of them. And that's talking about that.
Okay. What you get for the brother Mike?
Where it said, what our fathers haven't known, even wood and stone, but they've been doing that. Even before these curses.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. Right.
Yeah, kind of. For me, I think that's of the covenant, right? Abraham, Isaac, Jacob, the things that they was into, right? The things they was into and was not into, the things that the covenant was made of. But all point is valid, right? All point is valid. But we're gonna go through the text, right? So let's get it. We're gonna do a little reading. Let's go to Daniel's 5, start at verse 1, read all the way down to 23. We gonna see some examples of this even during the time of the Babylonians.
Said Daniel 5 and what?
Daniel 5, start at verse 1.
This is Daniel chapter 5 and verse 1.
Okay.
Belshazzar the king made the great feast to 1,000 of his lords, and drank wine before the 1,000. Belshazzar, whilst he tasted the wine, commanded to bring the golden and silver vessels which his father Nebuchadnezzar had taken out of the temple, which was in Jerusalem, that the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines might drink therein.
So Belshazzar is the son of Nebuchadnezzar, right? After Nebuchadnezzar died, he took over in his stead, right? So we still right now in the Babylonian captivity, right? But Nebuchadnezzar was the king of Babylon, right? And so Belshazzar as his son that's taken over in his stead, just to kind of get y'all up to speed. Go ahead.
Then they brought the golden vessels that were taken out of the temple of the house of God, which was at Jerusalem, and the king and his princes, his wives, and his concubines drank in them. They drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver, of brass, of iron, of wood, and of stone.
Shalakia. Now this is during the time of the Babylonian. Remember, we just read in Deuteronomy 20:64, there you're going to be serving other gods, wood and stone. But right here in verse 4, it said they drank wine and praised the gods of gold and of silver and of brass, of iron, and of wood and stone. Now you know this all predates Christianity, right? And it all predates Islam, right? So we read in Deuteronomy 28:64, which was approximately about 1391 BC during the time of Moses. And you have the Babylonian captivity, which was around 605 BC. So this was years after it was said. So this was eschatology actually happening, getting into play. When the Bible said, there you're going to be serving other gods. Right? And so you see this during the time of the Babylonian captivity, this wood and stone starting to appear, right? Read on.
In the same hour came forth fingers of a man's hand, and wrote over against the candlestick upon the plaister of the wall of the king's palace. And the king saw the part of the hand that wrote. Then the king's countenance was changed, and his thoughts troubled him, so that the joints of his loins were loosed, and his knees smote one against another. The king cried aloud to bring in the astrologers, the Chaldeans, and the soothsayers. And the king spake and said to the wise man of Babylon, whosoever shall read this writing and show me the interpretation thereof shall be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about his neck, and shall be the third ruler in the kingdom.
Shalakia. And so it says that the king, he cried and he brought in astrologers, man. And see, I was in the store one day. I had my Judah piece on, my Judah's necklace, and the sister was like, "Are you a Leo?" She's like, "Are you a Leo?" Because even in America and all over the world, actually, we into astrology. But you see it back in the during the time of the Babylonian, that was something they was into. Like this ain't nothing new, right? Ain't no new thing under the sun. You see the astrologers there to read horoscopes, right? to read galaxies, and you know what I mean, and read stars and moons and all this kind of stuff. And this is what was going on during the time of the Babylonian, which is like 605 BC, right? Go ahead.
Then came in all the king's wise men, but they could not read the writing, nor make known Shalakia to the king the interpretation thereof. Then was the king Belshazzar greatly troubled, and his countenance was changed in him, and his lords were astonished. Now the queen, by reason of the words of the king and his lords, came into the banquet house, and the queen spake and said, O king, live forever. Let not thy thousands trouble thee, nor let thy countenance be changed. There is a man in thy kingdom in whom is the spirit of the holy gods, and in the days of thy father, light and understanding and wisdom, like the wisdom of the gods, was found in him, whom the king Nebuchadnezzar, thy father, the king, I say, thy father, made master of the magicians, astrologers, Chaldeans, and soothsayers.
So when you go into Daniel 2, and this is what she's talking about, right? And Daniel 2, where Daniel was able to interpret Nebuchadnezzar's dream, right? But now this is son, right? This is son, right? And she said, "Look, man, it's a guy in your kingdom that your dad put him over all the soothsayers, man, over all the astrologers and Chaldees, man, right?" So she said, "Look, you need to go get him, man. He can be able to tell you what's going on, right?" Read on, verse 12.
For as much as an excellent spirit and knowledge and understanding, interpreting of dreams and showing of heart sentences and dissolving of doubts were found in the same Daniel, whom the king named Belshazzar. Now note that Daniel be called, and he will show the interpretation. Then was Daniel brought in before the king, and the king spake and said unto Daniel, Art thou that Daniel, which art of the children of the captivity of Judah, whom the king my father brought out of Jewry? I have ever heard of thee, that the spirit of the gods is in thee, that light and understanding and excellent wisdom is found in thee. And now the wise men, the astrologers, have been brought in before me, that they should read this writing and make known unto me the interpretation thereof. But they could not show the interpretation of the thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I have heard of thee that thou canst make interpretations and dissolve doubts. Now, if thou canst read the writing and make known to me the interpretation thereof, thou shalt be clothed with scarlet and have a chain of gold about thy neck, and shalt be third ruler in the kingdom.
So he asked him, the king asked him, say, man, look, these other guys, they can't interpret the things that's happening, man. But if you come and if you can interpret it, he said, look, I'm gonna make you third in my kingdom, man. I'm gonna give you fine scarlet clothing, man. I'm gonna give you jewelry around your neck, man. And I'm gonna put you at the top of the food chain, man. You're gonna be third in command in my kingdom, right? But watch what Daniel said. Go ahead.
Verse
17.
17. Then Daniel answered and said before the king, let thy gifts be to thyself, and give thy rewards to another. Yet I will read the writing unto the king and make known to him the interpretation.
So he said, Slucky, he said, let that gift be to thyself, and give thy reward to another, man. He said, man, I don't want to be third in your kingdom, man. I don't want your jury, man. Look, get that to somebody else, but I'll do it for free. I'm gonna tell you what this dream say for free, right? Read on.
O thou king, the most high God gave Nebuchadnezzar thy father a kingdom and majesty and glory and honor. And for the majesty that he gave him, all people, nations, and languages trembled and feared before him. Whom he would he slew, and whom he would he kept alive, and whom he would he set up, and whom he would he put down. But when his heart was lifted up and his mind hardened in pride, he was deposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. And he was driven from the sons of men, and his heart was made like the beast, and his dwelling was with wild asses. And they fed him with grass like oxen, and his body was wet with the dew of heaven, till he knew that the Most High God ruled in the kingdom of men, and that he appointed over it whomsoever he will.
See that, and this is all God's plan. And this is what I'm saying about when we tell the other nations it's not for you. Was Nebuchadnezzar an Israelite? He was the king, Israelite, right? Kurt. He was a Babylonian. He was the king of Babylon. He was a Babylonian, right? So he wasn't Israel. He had Israel in captivity. But he said that Nebuchadnezzar's heart was lifted up to God. God gave him the kingdom to rule how he seemed fit. Right? But what happened? His heart got lifted up to God. Yahweh, man. Watch this. Verse 20. But when his heart was lifted up, his mind hardened in pride, and he was disposed from his kingly throne, and they took his glory from him. Right? His heart was lifted up. Daniel interpret Nebuchadnezzar's dream, and his heart still was lifted up to the Most High. And the Most High snatched the kingdom from Nebuchadnezzar, man. All right? So now read on, brother.
And he was driven from the sons of men, 22. And though his son, O Belshazzar, has not humbled thine heart, though thou knewest all this, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of the house before thee, and thou and thy lords, thy wives, and thy concubines have drunk wine in them, and thou hast praised the God of silver, of gold, of brass, of iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know, and the God in whose hand thy breath is, and whose are all thy ways, hast thou not glorified.
See that? And that's what I'm saying, man. What is Daniel telling Belshazzar, man? What is he telling him right here? He's a Babylonian, and he's telling him right here, he said, but hast lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee, and thou and thy Lord, thy wives and thy concubines have drunken wine in them, and thou hast praised the gods of silver and gold and brass and iron, and wood and stone, which seeth not, nor hear it, nor know it. Same thing you see in Deuteronomy 28:64. Right? So we see the same thing during the time of the Babylonians, that they were serving wood and stone that predated Christianity and Islam. Right? It predates that. Right? So I know we put that for Christianity and Islam, but it's part of it, because you don't realize that these gods are just gods that's continuing to keep reappearing. The same God they was doing in Babylon, they doing right now in America. It's the same stuff. So I just wanted to show you that these gods predates Christianity. So we say, yeah, Christianity and Islam. No, that's not true, because it predates it. But you're going to realize Christianity and Islam is the same stuff they was doing back then. It ain't nothing new under the sun. Right? The same God just keep reappearing itself, right? So let's get into 2 Kings, man. Let's get into 2 Kings 19:1. 2 Kings 19:1. 2 Kings 19 and verse 1.
Come. The book of 2 Kings, chapter 19, verse 1. And it came to pass, when King Hezekiah heard it, that he rent his clothes and covered himself with sackcloth, and went into the house of the Lord. And he sent Eliakim, which was over the household, and Shebna the scribe, and the elders of the priests, covered with sackcloth, to Isaiah the prophet, the son of Amos. And they said unto him, Thus said Hezekiah, this day is a day of trouble, and of rebuke, and blasphemy. For the children are come to the birth, and there is not strength to bring forth. It may be the Lord thy God will hear all the words of Rabshakeh, whom the king of Assyria, his master, have sent to reproach the living God, and will reprove the words which the Lord thy God have heard. Wherefore lift up thy prayer from the remnant that are left.
So here it is, Hezekiah, they faced with this thing with the king of Assyria, right? And so the king of Assyria is sitting reproach to our living God, and God gonna reprove the king of Assyria for the things that the Assyrians doing. Now when you understand, the Assyria was the northern kingdom was under captivity under the Assyrians. So these two different kingdoms. The first one, the Babylon, was southern kingdom. Right now, we referring to the king of Assyria over northern kingdom. This is what Hezekiah is facing right now, right? Read on.
Verse 5. So the servants of King Hezekiah called to Isaiah, and Isaiah said unto them, Thus shall ye say to your master, Thus said the Lord, be not afraid of the words which thou hast heard, with which the servants of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me.
Mm-hmm.
Behold, I will send a blast upon him, and he shall hear a rumor, and shall return to his own land, and I will cause him to fall by the sword in his own land.
So this is what the Most High said. I'm going to send a blast upon him, right? And he shall die by the sword. This is what the Most High show. I'm going to show you my power, and I'm going to send a blast to him, and he's going to die by the sword. Right, go ahead.
So Rabshakeh returned and found the king of Assyria warring against Libnah, for he had heard that he was departed from Lachish. And when he heard say of Kahakin, king of Ethiopia, behold, he is come out to fight against thee. He sent messengers again unto Hezekiah, saying, Thus shall ye speak to Hezekiah king of Judah, saying, let not thy God, in whom thou trustest, deceive thee, saying, Jerusalem shall not be delivered into the hands of the king of Assyria.
Go ahead.
Behold, thou hast heard that the kings of Assyria have done to all lands by destroying them utterly. And shall thou be delivered?
And shall thou be delivered. So don't let your God deceive you, man. King of Assyria is the way to go. Don't you see what he's doing to these lands, man? Don't you see how he going and they manhandling and mangling these lands, these kings of other lands, man? Don't get it twisted, man. Trust in the king and the Assyrians and the gods of Assyria, man. Don't trust in that God of Yahweh. Don't trust in him. Right? Go ahead.
Verse 12. Have the gods of the nations delivered them, which my father have destroyed, as Gozan and Haran and Rezeph and the children of Edom, which where is Telasar? Where is the king of Hamath and the king of Arpad and the king of the city of Sepharvaim, of Hannah and Ivor? And Hezekiah received a letter of the hand of the messengers and read it. And Hezekiah went up into the house of the Lord and spread it before the Lord. And Hezekiah prayed before the Lord and said, O Lord, God of Israel, which dwelleth between the cherubim, thou art the God, even thou alone, of all the kingdoms of the earth. Thou hast made heaven and earth. Lord, bow down thine ear and hear. Open, Lord, thine eyes and see, and hear the words of Sennacherib, which have sent him to reproach the living God. Of a truth, Lord, the kings of Assyria have destroyed the nations of their lands, and had cast their gods into the fire, for they were no gods, but the work of men's hands, wood and stone. Therefore, they have destroyed them.
See that? It's Shalakia. He said that the king of Assyria have destroyed the gods of the land, even wood and stone, man. He have destroyed them. That wood and stone existed during the time of the Assyrian, right? Which all this stuff was happening at the same time. Daniel and Isaiah, Hezekiah, they lived around the same period. You know what I mean? Around 600 to 700 BC, right? So all this happening really around the same time, right? And so he said, look, man, he destroyed the gods of the other lands, wood and stone. But remember, God said we would be serving these gods, wood and stone. Right? Read verse 19.
Now therefore, O Lord, our God, I beseech thee, save us out of his hand, that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that thou art the Lord God, even thou only.
Even thou only. And that's some of the prayers Israel need to be having, man. Because it's going to happen. And we're going to get into that text. It's going to happen. The Most High said, he said, we pray that you save us out of their hands. So all the people on the earth will know that you are God. That you are Yahweh. Instead of us trying to boost Israel up, we should be boosting Yahweh up, man. Giving all praises and glory and honor to the Most High to deliver us, because we can't do it ourselves. Right? So that's another example of the wood and stone. That these wood and stone, the Bible tells you in Deuteronomy 28:64 that was going to happen, but some of that stuff was happening during the time of the 6th century. Some of that stuff was already happening, them serving other woods and stones. And Christianity and Islam is nothing but remember that movie Last Dragon with my brother I forget the brother
Bruce Lee.
It was no, not Last Dragon. Enter the Dragon. My bad, brother. Yeah, Enter the Dragon with Bruce Lee, but the brother that played in it with the afro, he was like, man, this ain't nothing but Jim Carrey. There we go, Jim Kelly, right? That was his name. Yeah, and he was like, man, you ain't nothing but a comic book, man. This ain't nothing but a rerun. I done seen it before, and that's all Christianity and Islam is, man. Ain't nothing but a rerun, man. All this stuff is nothing but a rerun. That's why you see, in America, they deal with the pyramids and the all-seeing eye and all that stuff. That ain't nothing but a redemption of Egypt, man. It's just all this stuff has been done. Greek fashion, you see Greek fraternities all over the place. That ain't nothing but, stuff that they was doing back then, worshiping Greek gods, right? So all this stuff is just a repeat. Right, so we see that. So we're gonna go into a couple of videos, man. And we're gonna go into the Greek gods a little bit to show you that what our forefather was seeing during the time of the Babylonians Assyrian captivity, that what you see the king of Assyria destroying, right? And so the Babylonians, Assyrians, all of them had around the same god. They would just name something else. Same thing as the Greeks. A lot of them gods was the same gods in Egypt, right? Egypt was the centerpiece of all gods. Everybody was really marking themselves or building themselves after Egypt, because Egypt was the first dynasty civilization, right? So let's get into a couple of videos right quick. Let's get into the Babylonian gods real quick. Real speech, fair speech, fair use, Shalaki, fair use. Let's see. Let's get to this. Share my screen real quick. Let's get into the Babylonian gods a little bit. Share my screen. Okay. Y'all can see my screen?
God.
I'll fast forward a little bit. We're going to get into some of these Greek gods. As you see some of them made out of stone, and some of them there's a lot of them. So this is what some of the Most High was saying. So let's get into some of these Greek gods a little bit. Babylonian gods, Shalaki.
Each time, Ninlil is seduced and impregnated with a new deity, a god of canals, a god with a curious dual association with both the underworld as well as healing, and most importantly, the god of death, Nergal. Enlil is also important in the Mesopotamian flood myth, another point of similarity with later religions. Originally, the story went that there was a great flood, and Enlil rewarded the sole survivor, Utnapishtim, with immortality. But in later tellings, he was the cause of the flood himself. Enlil couldn't sleep because there were too many humans on the earth making noise, so he decided to kill every living thing with a flood. His brother Enki warned Utnapishtim of the oncoming flood, so he and his family became the only survivors.
Now, Noah happened before the Babylonians, right? So where did they get that story from? Where did they get that story? It sounds like Noah, right? This is what they do. They create gods around other people's deities. This is what you see in the Babylonian, right? Noah predates the Babylonian, right? But I just wanted to point that out. Shalak, y'all brothers got anything? Somebody finna say something? Okay.
Enlil was furious to see humans still walking the earth, but his son Ninurta and his granddaughter Inanna convince him to promise never to flood the earth again, and instead to periodically cull the human population with wild animals and famines. So, hooray! And then he briefly went to see the humans, and they treated him with respect in spite of, or maybe because of, the apocalypse he just inflicted, so he blesses Utnapishtim with immortality. This was very much an explanation myth more so than a moral fable. The other primary Anunnaki, Enki, is a god of creation, as well as a trickster, at times heroic, at times villainous, and other times just plain lazy. He's a central figure in the creation of humanity. Once upon a time, Abzu was growing old and tired, but he was disturbed by the ruckus of the younger gods, and so he set out to destroy them. The gods found out about this, and Enki stepped forward as their point guard. He placed Abzu in a deep sleep and carried him deep underground. This begged the question, who would care for Abzu's primordial waters while he slept? So Enki dove deep down to the freshwater sea beneath the earth to rule Abzu's realm in his stead. Tiamat was not happy with their children usurping Abzu, so she transformed into a terrifying dragon in order to destroy the world herself. This time, Enki chooses to do nothing, because apparently putting one elder god to rest was as much as he could muster, so Enlil stepped up to slay the dragon. He tore her body apart, making the vault of the heavens with her ribs and the Milky Way with her tail. But of course, she couldn't truly be killed, and so she carried on living in that disfigured form, and from her crying eyes sprang forth the rivers Tigris and Euphrates. Once again, the question arose, without Tiamat, who would keep the cosmos working as intended? And this time, Enki came back with a clever solution. The gods would create servants from clay to tend to the earth. That's us. But Enki was also promiscuous and deceitful. In one very sordid tale, Enki has an affair with Ninhursag, a fertility goddess.
And Shalakia, you know they said that there you will serve other gods wood and stone. And if anybody ever did any kind of masonry work, you know that whole building process take the clay and turn it into stone. You know what I mean? So all this is a process of how these deities came into fruition.
But eventually she left him. Some years later, Enki is still lonely and missing his lost lover when who should appear but a beautiful young woman who looks just like her. Enki at once seduces her, not knowing that this woman was the daughter he had with Ninhursag. Well, she eventually leaves him, and time goes by, and Enki is again stewing in his loneliness when he meets another beautiful young maiden. This is also his daughter, and also his granddaughter. Years go by, and there's a third mysterious young woman who looks very much like Ninhursag, even though, going by DNA, she would be 87.5% Enki. Ninhursag finds out what's happened and undoes it, then sets out to turn the tables on Enki. His whole body begins to swell, and he seems to be dying until Ninhursag
I'll fast forward a little
with
bit.
Mythology with Mike, who's created an entire video all about her, so I'll just cover the basics. She was the goddess of love and beauty, much like her Roman counterpart Venus, but also goddess of war, justice, and political power. And one day, she was...
And so, I just wanted to play a little bit of that to show you how many gods that the Babylonians had. And this is what God was referring to, the gods of wood and stone. The multiple gods, not just a single deity. These are multiple gods. I think they had like 300-some gods. Just like the Egyptians had 300-some gods. He just said that this god was like Venus, just like the Greek god that they got from the Babylonians. And I think it was Isis during the time of Egypt. So all these are the same God that's just reappearing. They're the same gods reappearing. And you see Christianity serve a lot of these gods. The god of fertility when it comes to Easter, right? They say these are the same God that the Babylonians were serving, same God that the Syrians were serving, same God that the Egyptians were serving, same God that the Greeks were serving and the Romans were serving. These are the same gods that keep on reemerging. Same gods, right? So this is what was going on during the time of the Babylon. Look at all these gods on this thing. This is what God was seeing. When he said, there you should be serving other gods wood and stone, this is what he was seeing. He was seeing not just a single deity, but multiple deities. And we're going to get into that. Right? He was seeing multiple deities, not a single deity. And so when you look at Islam, when you look at Christianity, Islam before monotheism, they was in multiple gods, right? And then Islam, Muhammad went into monotheism where it just started going into one God, but still, it's they say one God, but a lot of their gods is plural, just like Christianity say. Well, we believe in Jesus, but then they believe in Easter, then they believe in Christmas, then they believe in Thanksgiving and all these other Valentine's Day, right? They believe in celebrating the New Year's Day, which is the Janus, right? They believe in all these Greek gods, but they said that they believe in Jesus, right?
Hey,
so this is go ahead.
But you making them comparisons, that's that fine line that people don't see and don't understand. They look at it as just a holiday. No, that's a fine line, man. That idol worship. Just like when we try to, make God fit into our foolishness, man. That's idol worship.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. And so, but that's that crafty counsel. That's that crafty counsel. They try to make Yahweh, they know it's an illusion of you serving the one true God, but you serving the gods of the world. It's that illusion that Christianity, and we're gonna get in once about the cross, because that cross is that's the same deity, right? No, the cross was never given to us by the Messiah or by Paul. We're gonna get into the cross right now, right? Because all these deities is what we got to understand. When the Most High said wood and stone, Christianity is not excluded from it, but it's just not Christianity, right? When we say Christianity, most people think of Christ, right? They think of God, but it's a plural deity that we worship in Christianity. Same thing with Islam, right? So let me pull up this one with the cross. Stop sharing this one. Pull up the one with the cross real quick. Then we're gonna get into some more. Show you how these things are concurrent, right? How this prophecy is concurrent, right? So let's see. Let's get into the cross. Mr. Islam. Where's the one with the Slocky family? Mystery truth about the cross. Where's that one? Oh, there you go. There we go. And I'm gonna tell you, I like this brother too, man. He has some good commentator, man. But you'll see that he don't got the beard and all that. He still kind of follow Babylonian and Egyptian customs. But I like some of his stuff he be doing.
The truth is about the cross. Now, before our break, we read an excerpt from a courses on the Apostles' Creed. And we learned that the Catholic Church claims that the custom regarding the cross dates back to the time of the apostles and the beginning of Christianity. Now, Apostle Paul was also quoted. He said in Galatians 6:14, "Far be it from me to glory save in the cross of our Lord Jesus Christ." Now, though the Apostle Paul mentioned the cross in this verse, there is no mention or commandment for us to have a physical cross. And if you still remember what we studied earlier, that other than the actual death of Christ on a literal cross, other mentions of the cross refers to sacrifice or self-denial. In fact, you cannot read in the Bible that the first Christians had any such practice of having physical crosses or a crucifix in any way. So where did this practice come from? Was this practice or symbol Christian? Well, in this Catholic book entitled The Visible Church on page 121, this is what we can read. The cross is the most important of Catholic emblems. It symbolizes the redemption of mankind and our holy faith. Because Jesus Christ, our Redeemer and our God, died on a cross. It is used on our churches, schools, institutions, altars, vestments, etc., as a symbolic ornament. And when blessed as either a cross or crucifix, it becomes a great sacramental of our religion. Among many nations in ancient times, crosses were used for the execution of criminals. But even among pagan nations, the cross was held in religious honor. The most ancient form was the swastika, emblematic of the revolutions of the sun and consequently of life. In Egypt and Assyria, the cross typified creative power. The Egyptian gods are often represented holding a crux ansata, or cross with a handle, an emblem of the reproductive powers of nature. In India, Mexico, and Peru, crosses were in use with the same symbolic meaning.
Now, that's just what we were showing earlier. How these deities keep remerging, and he's showing you that the Egyptians had a cross, the Babylonians, all of them had cross, right? The Romans used it as a way of persecution even before Christ. This is how they was killing. That's why it was two men next to Christ. It said a thief and a murderer, right? Because this is the way they was using to execute who they consider criminals. Right? So it's one of those red herrings, right? It's common in peace, but it's actually an origin of false deities, man. It's false deities. The cross is false deities. We're gonna get back into the video. I'll get back into the video.
And so, as we have read, the cross is said to be the most important of Catholic emblems. And when blessed as either a cross or a crucifix, it becomes a great sacramental of the Catholic religion. So the symbol of the cross became identified with Christianity only through the Catholic Church and not from the Holy Scriptures, not from Christ, or even the apostles. This was used by pagan nations even before the time of Christ. In fact, how should the symbol of the cross really be considered? Well, the answer may shock many, so you don't want to miss it. We'll find out when we return on Face the Truth.
Yeah, Karen. So the brother going into showing that emblem, that cross emblem, even came before Christ. It was there before Christ. So while we on the baseball mound, kissing that cross and pointing up to God. Right? We using that cross as a sacred symbol to Christ when you seen that happening before Christ. Before Christ. All right? So this is, remember I told you, remember he said, as sun worshiping. And what day do Christians go to church? Sunday. All right? As sun worship. Right? When you look at the god Ra, that's a sun god. And you also seen, when we was looking at the Babylonian gods, you also seen the Babylonian had sun gods as well, right? So these was all pagan worshiping. Pagan origins, right? So this was the origin of the cross. And then I got another video, but I ain't going to show that one. But how Constantine wasn't a Christian at all, man. Constantine was worshiping all kind of multiple gods, man. When you go look on the walls of the Greek walls where they got a mirror of Constantine carved into the stone, when they looked at it closely, and it's a wall that where it was a picture of him going to war. He had not a single cross on that wall, man. He had not a single cross on that wall, meaning that he didn't believe in it. Right? They was all into pagan gods, man, and whatever it was to get the people over, that's what they did. But he wasn't a Christian or a follower of Christ at all, man. So let's get back into the scriptures, man. Let's get Ezekiel, because it's gonna be. We've seen it before Christ. And we see it during the time of the Babylonians and time of the Assyria. But you see Deuteronomy 20:64 going into, yeah, you're going to be serving other gods with a stone. You're going to be sold into slavery by the way of ships. We see all these eschatology prophecies that was going to happen to Israel. Now, saying it's the Christian church and it's Islam is not totally false because they the same gods, right? So let's go to Ezekiel 20. And 30 through 41, and this is an end-time prophecy, right? A lot of Ezekiel writings is end-time prophecies, right? So let's get Ezekiel 20, 30 through 41.
This is Ezekiel chapter 20 and verse 30. Wherefore say unto the house of Israel, thus saith the Lord God, are ye polluted after the manner of your fathers? And commit ye whoredom after their abominations? For when ye offer your gifts, when ye make your sons to pass through the fire, ye pollute yourselves with all your idols, even unto this day. And shall I be inquired of by you, O house of Israel, as I live, saith the Lord, I will not be inquired of by you. And that which cometh into your mind, Shalak. And that which what was that?
Verse 32.
32. For that which cometh into your mind shall not be at all that ye say. We will be as the heathen, as the families of the countries, to serve wood and stone.
See that? So the Most High said, when it come to your mind, shall not be at all that ye say, we will be as the heathens, as the families, plural, of the countries, plural, to serve wood and stone. So here you go again. But this is an entire prophecy, right? This is the one that's after Daniel's, right? After the Babylonian and after the Assyrian. This is entire prophecies. He said, you're not going to be like this. You remember your fathers went into the abomination of doing that kind of stuff. You're not going to be like this. Watch this. Keep going. Verse 33.
33. As I live, saith the Lord God, surely with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out will I rule over you. And I will bring you out from the people and will gather you out of the countries wherein ye are scattered with a mighty hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out.
Okay, so this is Shalaki, and this is right here is an end time prophecy. This haven't happened yet. Where Israel was pulled out of every country where they were scattered. Right? Every country that you were scattered in, I will pull you out with fury poured out. Right? And he said with a stretched out hand and with a stretched out arm and with fury poured out. Right? So this is an end time prophecy. This is the time, this is the coming of the Messiah. Right? This is the coming of the Messiah. And he said, I'm gonna come get you out of these nations. Right? I'm come get you where you were scattered at. Right? Verse 35.
And I will bring you into the wilderness of the people, and there will I plead with you face to face, like as I pleaded with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt. So will I plead with you, saith the Lord God. And
so, Shalakia, Brother Michael, give me Hebrews 8:8. Because remember he said, like as I plead with your fathers in the wilderness of the land of Egypt, so would I plead with you, said the Lord. So this is another Exodus. That's how you know it's an end time prophecy. You don't see Israel having another Exodus in the text. That haven't happened yet. So this is another Exodus. It's not the first Exodus when we came out of Egypt. This is another Exodus, right? So give me that in Hebrews in the New Testament.
God, this is the book of Hebrews, chapter 8, verse 8. For finding fault with them, he said, behold, the days come, said the Lord, when I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and with the house of Judah.
Go ahead.
Not according to the covenant that I made with their fathers in the day when I took them by the hand to lead them out of the land of Egypt, because they continue not in my covenant, and I regarded them not, said the Lord.
Go ahead.
For this is the covenant that I will make with the house of Israel after those days, said the Lord. I will put my laws into their mind and write them in their hearts, and I will be to them a God, and they shall be to me a people.
See, this is a new covenant, right? Not like when he brought our forefathers out by the hand in the land of Egypt, which covenant they broke, right? And so this is same thing in Ezekiel. He's seeing in Ezekiel 20, verse 36, right? When he brought like as I pleaded with your fathers in the land, in the wilderness in the land of Egypt, so would I plead with you, said the Lord God. And that's what you see in Hebrews 8:8, right? And in Jeremiah 31:31, you see God, a second Exodus, Israel coming out like the first Exodus, right? So read, Brother Dion, Exodus 20 and 37.
Exodus, Ezekiel. You say Exodus?
I'm sorry, Ezekiel. My bad, brother. Ezekiel 20 and 37.
37. And I will cause you to pass under the rod, and I will bring you unto the bond of the covenant. And I will purge.
Shalaki said a bond of the covenant, just like the brother read in Hebrews 8 and 8. I will make a new covenant with the house of Israel and the house of Judah. Not as like I made the covenant with their father when I brought them out of Egypt. So this is a new covenant, right? I'm gonna bring you into the bond of the covenant, just like you see in Hebrews 8 and 8 and 9 and 10, right? Shalaki, brother, verse 38.
38. And I will purge out from among you the rebels and them that transgress against me. I will bring them forth out of the country where they sojourn, and they shall not enter into the land of Israel, and ye shall know that I am the Lord.
Right, just like the first time, when only Joshua and Caleb made it from out of the first Exodus, and their children the one went into the kingdom the first time, the first promised land. But this time he said, I'm gonna purge out the rebels from among you, the ones that don't want to keep God's commandments. If you are Israel, you better open up your spiritual eye and pray to the Lord and see what your nationality is. Because if you're Israel, when Christ comes back, if your name is not written in the Lamb Book of Life, it's done for you. It's done for you. You're going to have a millennial reign where the Gentiles going to be able to get in, man. They're going to be able to they're going to come and serve the Most High according to Isaiah 2 and 2. After the reign of purging, and everybody going to captivity, and everybody serving Israel and getting the kingdom prepared for the Lord, they're going to still be able to get it. But guess what's going to happen to Israel? He going to purge off among you the rebels, the ones that transgressing God's laws. So that's why it's important to know who you are. Right. So let's get it on verse 39.
As for you, O house of Israel, thus saith the Lord God, go ye, serve ye every one his idols, and hereafter also, if ye will not hearken unto me, but pollute ye my holy name no more with your gifts and with your idols. For in mine holy mountain, in the mountain of the height of Israel, saith the Lord God, there shall all the house of Israel, all the men in the land serve me. There will I accept them, and there will I require your offerings and the first fruits of your oblations with all your holy things.
With all your holy things, Shalakia. So who he say he going to accept? Verse 40. For in my holy mountains and in the mountains of the height of Israel, says Lord Yahweh, there shall all the house of Israel, all of them in the land, serve me. There will I accept them, and there will I require your offerings and your first fruits of your oblations with all your holy things. So those are the ones who want to serve Yahweh, man. Those are the ones who want to come back and keep God's laws until it hurts. Until it hurts, right? So here it is. The Most High said, go and serve your idols. These are the wood and stone, man. That's why he said, man, if they're going to be ignorant, what? Let them be. Let them be. If you try to talk to people and they don't want to serve God, they want to serve the Babylonian God, they want to serve the gods of this world, the Most High said, go ahead and serve your idols. Go ahead. Serve it. See how that work out for you. Right? So we see this wood and stone was going to happen in the latter days as well. Right? We started, the brother started at verse 30. I'm going to go up a little farther. He started at verse 30, and he said, but I started at 32, and that which come into your mind shall not be as all that ye say, we will be as the heathens, and the fullness of the country to serve wood and stone. You see it happen in the latter days as well. But that's all the deities, right? When you go into Daniel's, we went into Daniel's 5 and 23, I think it was, and it was like that there was God of gold, God of silver, God of wood, God of stone. All these are it's multiple gods, not just a single deity. So like when you talk about the Antichrist, they talk about the Antichrist going to be someone that come out of the east. But the Antichrist is a multiple deity and not just one deity. And Christ warned us about that, right? So last piece. So let's go to Revelations 9:18-21. Right? And show us just the end time prophecy as well about these same gods. So Revelations 9:18-21.
It's the book of Revelations, chapter 9, verse 18.
Okay.
By these three was the third part of men killed by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone, which issued out of their mouths. For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails was like unto serpents and had heads, and with them they do hurt. And the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. Neither repented they of their murders, nor of their sorceries, nor of their fornication, nor of their thefts.
Right, because it was a different punishment for these men. But right here, verse 20, it said, and the rest of the men which were not killed by these plagues, yet repented not of the works of their hands, that they should not worship devils and idols of gold and silver and brass and stone and of wood, which neither can see nor hear nor walk. And let me get that Daniel again. Because that's the same gods. Watch, let's get it out of Daniel's again. Daniel's 5, and I think 23. Right? Let's get out of Daniel's again. Because it's the same God, the same deities that's re-emerging. All right, real quick. Daniel's 5. I think it's 23. I'm going to get it out of Daniel's. But, yeah, it says, but have lifted up thyself against the Lord of heaven, and they have brought the vessels of his house before thee. And thou and thy Lord, thy wives, thy concubines have drunken wine in them. And thou hast praised the God of silver and gold, of brass, iron, wood, and stone, which see not, nor hear, nor know. And the God is in whose hand thou breathest is, that was like thy breath is, and whose are all the ways hast thou not glorified. That's the same thing you see in Revelation, man. Revelation 9, right? And so when you see these are the same gods reappearing, reemerging. So the God of Christianity is plural gods. It's more polytheism, right? Than monotheism, right? They really into more multiple gods than single gods. But they act like they into single gods. Same thing with Islam. It's polytheism. It's multiple gods in the frame shape of one single God. So they perpetrate as if they serve one God, but it's plural gods that they serve and worship. So when we say that the God of wood and stone is Christianity, true, but not just Christianity. It's any false doctrine, whether it's Kushner. I know brother be going into that about the Kushner gods, right? By Elon gods, right? And so whether it's Islam or Christianity or Buddhist, any god that is contrary to the Most High God will be considered that god of wood and stone, or even silver, or even gold. But so I just wanted to go over that little hour 15 minutes in. I think we did a good time on it. But I just wanted to go into these gods of wood and stone. Is just not the cross, but it's everything representing the cross represent, and same thing what the stone represent, man. Y'all brothers got any questions or any words or exhortations?
No, I'm good. I'm good, man. Good lesson. I always associate wood and stone with Islam and Christianity, so that's definitely enlightened me a little bit.
Kind of all praises.
Salakia. Hey, you know, as time changing, man. Also, you know, I guess they have to keep up with stuff that's going on today. I didn't know they had a UFO religion, man.
Yeah, I just
So
seen it.
You know, we were just talking about Scientology the other day. They believe in some alien called Xenu.
Okay.
Yeah, so you know, like the brother said, man, you know, that was just magnifying that wood and stone, and you know, we see it, we can recognize it. I yield on that.
Yeah, kind. And it's like I said, we're not wrong about the Christianity and Islam. We just got to get it. You know, like me and Brother Feedy was talking the other day, man. It's just a lot we got to learn, and it's okay. It's okay. It's okay to grow in our spiritual maturity, man. You know, we can't just stay in the same. You know, the Most High. When you look at the disciples and apostles, they went through different layers of learning, and so we cannot just stay in grade school. Sometimes we got to go to middle school. And for those who went to middle school, I went to junior high school, and then you got to go to high school, and sometimes you got to go to college. So sometimes you got to mature in your spiritual growth, and don't be so yeah. When we first came in, a lot of the precepts they sounded good, and, and it's no knock on my brothers, man. You know, everybody is doing what they got to do for the kingdom, but over here we trying to get a little more depth into the scriptures, man, and let it all make sense. You know what I mean? So all praise and glory, honor go to Most High. Tuesday, Most High willing, we would be on our conference call, man. If y'all don't have the number, man, y'all can hit. My brother Phineas gave his email out the other day, or you can bringitouttv@gmail.com. Bringitouttv@gmail.com. We can share the information for the conference call line, and then on Wednesday we'll be on Most High willing. We'll be on Prince of Power Israelite on YouTube. Prince of Power Israelite on YouTube starting at 7:30, and the conference call start at 7:30 as well. And it's a 7 or 7:30 for the conference line. I don't got nothing from. It's 7:30 kind. So it'll be 7:30. Most High willing on Tuesday, and on Friday, Most High willing, Bring It Out TV at 7:30. So if it's nothing else, man, Yahweh by Hashem, Yahweh Shah, Barak Thumb, and families, man, keep Brother Dixon in y'all prayers, man. Please, 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 please. Keep the brother lifted up. Keep Sister Sarah in y'all prayers. Her and her family is going through trying time. It is time to pray for Israel. Right? We're going to have troubling times ahead, man. Like Brother Martin Luther King said, I have seen the mountaintops, and they're going to be troubling times ahead. So all praises, glory, honor go to the Most High, man. Shalom, family.
Hey, shalom.